Item 4 from County Treasurer Tina Bertrand. A is approval of resolution for abatement of taxes for the state of Iowa. Item B is approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 7019 in the amount of $783. Item C is approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 2002 in the amount of $255. And the item D, approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 2003 in the amount of $421. Item E is approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 6004 in the amount of $1,881. From item 5, Deputy Commissioner of Elections Steve Hoffmeyer. Receive and appoint Keith Jackson to fill the council position vacated by Alex Rabas in the city of Cushing. Item 6 from Human Resources, Melissa Thomas, approve of memorandum of personnel transactions. That ends the consent agenda. I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
I got motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Just one, Mr. Chair. Is this an updated version, the one that you have? I just noticed the numbering's different, but maybe you have a more up-to-date version?
This is what was in front of me. Yeah, it is different from yours.
Okay.
What
Should know
was-
if there's an item.
Jeremy, there was the resolution I had on there for an abatement of taxes was removed.
Okay.
There's some,
Thank you
there's
very
some
much for the,
wording- Yeah, there's some word that needed to be fixed, so Tina and I are working on that, so.
okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. All right, we are really close to the set time. I'll just go ahead and wait a second, and I'll explain that Matthew is traveling. Where are you at, Matthew?
I am on a mission trip in Albania.
So he is in Albania, and we have Dan, who is a little under the weather, but he can speak and listen and vote from phone, so he is here as well. So we have from Board Administration, item 7, it's a public hearing and sale of property parcel 894-726-127004 and 894-726-127005, also known as 3314 14th Street and 3315 13th Street. It's here for a 4:35 set time. We are now in a public hearing. It's just to hear for or against the sale of the property.
Seeing no one to speak for or against the sale of the property, this is just here if there's any objections to selling the property or not to bid on it quite yet. So hearing no objections to the sale of the property, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Second.
So we have motion by Taylor, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. We are now taking bids. Come to the microphone, state your name and your bid amount, and you can rebid. It's like an auction.
Jackie Laurie. And 100.
Any other bids on this? What was the minimum on that one? You have it?
100.
Okay.
And these are being sold together as one
Looks-
unit, is that the case, Mr. Chair?
That's what it looks like in the backup here. so.
Okay.
Any other bids? Anyone to bid on this? That's cheaper than groceries.
Hearing none, Mr. Chair, I move that the property in question be sold to Jackie Laurie for $100.
Second.
All right, motion by Taylor, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that passes. Congratulations. You'll meet with Heather in the back there. I wanted to call her by her former last name, Van Sickle, there, so. On to item B, which is a public hearing and sale of property parcel 894-726-126007 and 894-726-126004, also known as 3273 13th Street and 3274 14th Street. All right, we are at the 4:35 set time, and the public hearing is now open. Anyone to speak for or against these parcels being sold? All right, seeing none, I'll move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. We are now taking bids on these parcels as well.
Jackie Laurie, 471.
All right, anybody else?
Nick Noyes, 487.
493.
523.
600.
621.
630.
657.
700.
721.
722.
781.
782.
801.
850.
857.
883.
910.
930.
1,000.
You good there?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to bid more than 1,000 out there? This one's more than groceries.
Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Chair, I move that the property in question be sold to Mr. Noyes for
I think
1,000.
she's coming up.
Oh, as I was, as we would say in the military. Ma'am?
What is it now?
It's
$1,000.
1,000. I'm Joanna Sosa, 1,010.
1,500.
1,600.
1,620.
1,700.
1,752.
1,800.
1,833.
1,834.
2,000.
2,001.
2,023.
2,024.
2,400.
2,402.
2,452.
2,460.
2,500.
2,505.
2,522.
2,070.
Or 2,570 even? Okay.
2,600.
2,610.
2,650.
2,670.
2,700.
2,800.
3,000.
3,001.
3,023.
3,030.
3,100.
3,150.
3,180.
3,200.
3,257.
3,260.
3,273.
3,280.
3,302.
'Did he say 3,200 and what?
3,302.
3,302. Hmm. 3,500.
3,552.
3,560.
3,581.
3,600.
3,622.
3,630.
6,362.
Can we have can you restate the number?
3,682.
Okay, thank you. Thought we jumped up about 3,000. Thank you.
3,690.
3,700.
3,750.
3,772.
'Did he say 782?
72, I believe.
Yeah, 72, 3,772.
3,800.
3,833.
3,900.
3,922.
3,930.
3,052. 3,952.
4,000.
3,000.
We're at 4.
I'm sorry. 4,033.
What was that number? Sorry.
4,033.
4,033. 4,050.
82.
$4,100.
That's it.
All right. That was Jenny Souza, was it?
Joanna,
Joanna.
should I
Oh,
spell that or no?
I think it's good. She'll get it in the paperwork, but, anyone else left to bid out there? All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Move that the property be sold to Joanna Souza, Sosa for, oh, shoot,
4,100?
4,100. Thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right. And that passes anyone opposed, excuse me. And that passes 5-0, and you both move back there with Heather, and she'll get you guys taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 9 from WCICC. Oh, sorry, I skipped 8 because I had so much writing all over my paper here. Item 8 from Planning and Zoning. A is received the final report and the zoning commission's recommendation from their 5/29/24 meeting and approved the final plat of Thompson Farm Addition, a minor subdivision to Woodbury County.
Good evening Supervisors, Dan Priestley, zoning coordinator. The zoning commission sends their recommendation for approval of this one lot subdivision. It was waived by the city of Bronson. It's just on the south side of 190th Street, and everything checked out with the commission, so they send the recommendation.
I would move it.
I'll second. Motion by Taylor, second by Raddick. Any discussion on the report? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. And item B is accept and approve Thompson Farm Addition minor subdivision to Woodbury County. I'll move it.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to item 9, which is WCICC, upcoming county employee portal update.
Doug Bach, WCICC. John is unavailable to be here today. Informational, we're proceeding with the new employee portal. It parallels what the city has done. It's been very well received on that side. Not sure what questions you have on that. There is a credit we have from working with Neapolitan in the past, so that expense will be down to $7,500.
Is any questions out there?
FYI,
All right,
that's it, thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 10 from secondary roads. We have Mark back here. A is approval of resolution for changing farm to market extensions within the town of Pearson. Kind of hopeful we would have had some gas lantern here just to, you know.
Well, Mark Narrow, Woodbury County Engineer. This first item is to change some of the farm-to-market routes within the town of Pearson. We've been working with the town on improvements they want to do on Front Street. They had requested county participation in resurfacing of that route, but it is not a farm-to-market extension through town. The current farm-to-market extension is D12, which runs straight east and west through town. We replaced a bridge on that city-county portion, I think about 5 years ago now. D12 really isn't a road that would allow us to make improvements to get it set up as a truck route. There's a school on it for one thing. The homes are within less than 50 feet of the edge of the road. It's one of the very narrow 19-foot 6-inch wide roads through much of that area. And the city hasn't posted it for trucks. This really isn't in keeping with farm-to-market usage. In contrast, Front Street has most of the commercial businesses, including New Cooperative, which lines much of the south side of the street. And it makes a lot more sense to get the intersection there. This would also allow us to use some farm-to-market funds for redoing the intersection of Front Street and Minnesota Avenue as part of the county line, or corporate line bridge improvement project, which is currently under design on Minnesota Avenue. That's the extent of the changes we'd like to do. We're losing about 1/10 of a mile of farm-to-market route. Our farm-to-market funds are defined or determined by the amount of mileage we have, but this change to our funding, we're talking pennies out of roughly a $1.8 million per year allocation to the county. So it really won't affect our funding in any way, in any appreciable way, I should say. So it's my recommendation that we, first off, change the farm-to-market extension through town, adding 0.927 miles of farm-to-market extension, which would be from Front Street and Minnesota Avenue to where it intersects County Road D12, 110th Street on the east side of town. Then we'd be deleting 110th Street from the intersection of Haynes Street, which is the easternmost north-south street entirely contained within the town, east to Minnesota Avenue. It's about 1.125 miles. Half of that would be farm-to-market extension, the portion within the city. A portion of it would be county farm-to-market route. This classification, there's two classifications of farm-to-market roads and farm-to-market extensions. I probably should have explained that. So within towns, it's considered a farm-to-market extension.
I'd approve the resolution for changing farm-to-market extensions within the town of Pearson.
I'll second. Motion by Taylor, second by Raddick. Any discussion?
I think this is appropriate, just like he said, that Front Street is what connects Minnesota Ave or the Pearson Blacktop with D12. There's a lot of traffic that goes through there anyway. And then once we get Minnesota Avenue done, that new bridge and the changing of the grading and stuff on that hill, that's where the trucks are gonna wanna cut through north to go to Little Sioux Ethanol Plant up by Marcus or whatever anyway. So it just makes sense to do this, divert the trucks out of town. There's sharp corners and stuff anyway, so, yeah, this is,
Yeah, I
Very
think
good.
I think this really serves our population that we're trying to serve with the farm-to-market extensions.
and I think that we wouldn't have had that farm to market road through town if that bridge on Minnesota and that intersection had been better. And now that we're gonna be doing that, that's gonna help a lot. So,
All right, any other discussion on here?
Dean Bradham, Sioux City. Just a quick question. If I was to own a business on the previous route rather than the new route, is there any businesses that are going to be kind of left out of the dust by these trucks going an alternate route?
it's just homes,
Thank you.
residential. Yep. Good question though.
Sir, can you repeat your name, please? I didn't catch that.
Dean Bradham,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, it's only homes and then the Pearson Kingsley School building that are on that street.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? That passes 5-0. Item B is approval of plans for project number parent J 178.
This bridge is on Jewel Avenue between 170th and 180th Street. It's over a branch of Wolf Creek. The bridge is currently posted 3 tons and has been an impediment to the property owners along it. This is just a 2-mile road, so it's not a huge issue for our area, but there are quite a few farmers who use it for access to fields and such. Plans are complete. We're proposing a July 9th, 2024 letting. This is 100% local money for this bridge project.
All right. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 And anyone opposed? That passes 5-0.
While Mark's still up here, could I?
Yeah.
The the Michigan Ave Bridge off of 31 that we approved that true steel structure for. When will that construction start on that bridge?
We just got the soundings for it, so we're in the process of doing the substructure design now. We need to see where this price comes in and see whether we need to make any adjustments on our budget. This bridge was ahead of it and has been pending even longer for replacement, albeit it's not closed like the Michigan Avenue Bridge is. I'm expecting that we could have the plans ready for a letting in either August or September. True North Steel just submitted the final shop drawings to us that I approved today. You know, after we made the award of the structure, they have to go through and do final design on it that I had to approve. And that'll allow us to complete the substructure design as well. But the soundings allow us to determine how long the piling should be. The structural design allows us to determine the configuration of the cap on top of the abutments. So everything's coming together as quickly as we can with that project, hopefully to follow on in the not too distant future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Item 11 from Board Administration, Dennis Butler, approval of letter of support for Westland Property Management Development LLC application for Iowa Workforce Housing Tax Credits. Well, he's not here, but we see the backup, the agenda item.
I would move it.
All right. I'll second. Motion by Taylor, second by Raddick. Any discussion from any board members? Anyone from here? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that passes 5-0. Moving on to reports on committee meetings. Jeremy? Mark?
Yeah, I've got a few. I went to the Woodbury County Emergency Management, or the EMS Association meeting last week. They introduced our new EMS director, Drew Byer, there. He was very well received with that group, knew a lot of those people already. I was able to meet up with him and afterwards, and we were talking about how he's fitting in with the new role, and things are going very well. So we're very glad that we got him out there. He's got some priorities that I think are really great for his first kind of several months on the job, and so he's doing a very nice job out there, being very well received, so that's great. Second thing is just some praise for Mark Nera and the guys at Secondary Roads. I've had a lot of great comments about the Franklin Avenue rework off of Highway 20, where they built that slope up on the north side of Highway 20 there on Franklin and made that approach longer. That was, I drove that a lot years, and that was badly needed. So I've had a lot of good remarks from that. So that wasn't a major project, but it made a big difference. So thanks for that. We had an LEC meeting this afternoon. There really wasn't a lot. There wasn't much for claims. I think the biggest thing was Goldberg Group Architects and Baker Group kind of gave an update, but Goldberg Group submitted a letter into the record, really conveying their thoughts and opinions on the engineer consultant Troba and how they've been treating not only GGA but the county and the LEC on this project, the delays, the errors, and their displeasure with how long that this has drug on. So that letter will be in the minutes. The media got that as well. It was really pretty incredible to read that. I would suggest looking through that, but we're not the only ones frustrated, for sure. The substantial completion date still remains in July, and we had some good progress reports from this engineering rework that we're doing out there most recent. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Dan, I don't know that you want to speak to anything, but did you have anything there?
No, not this week. I have no meetings. Thank you.
And then Matthew?
No.
All right, I didn't have anything to report on myself. Item 13, citizen concerns.
My name's Dean Bradham, born and raised here in Sioux City. Do you need my address? Nobody else has given it tonight. Do you want it?
I'm fine with just the city.
Okay. I'm here, I guess, to, talk a little bit about, we have one of our Board of Supervisors that are.
Aye.
And I'd like to
Yeah, I may have silenced yours on accident when I was trying to shut mine off.
I guess I'd
Normally I
like to
shut.
address Keith Raddick that's running for the office. One of his radio ads is saying, bring back voter integrity to Woodbury County. I'd like to say that voter integrity is when someone reports a voter fraud complaint to the feds for investigation, as Pat Gill did. What is not is sitting silently next to the guy whose campaign committed 52 counts of fraud and never said a thing about it or condemning it. When he can't even condemn it after a trial and a conviction has occurred, why should the voters have any confidence he will protect their votes in the future? I've listened to your ad saying how in the 2020 election that we had several lawsuits that were brought and how you're going to make it right. Pat Gill sent out some voter absentee ballots. And what we've done is make it harder now. Now we have to send out a request prior to an absentee ballot. And it's just part of voter, suppression. And it feels like me that you're all over that voter suppression by supporting that thing that Bertrand brought up. Also, when somebody sits next to somebody, his wife just went to jail, and Jeremy, I like you, don't get me wrong, but when somebody does something as an unindicted co-conspirator, they're just saying they just don't quite have enough to indict you and bring you up on charges. But there was enough there for them to publicly say that. You're a chaplain in the military, you're also in the Army, and I just feel like at this point in time, you've lost a lot of credibility with us as the voters and stuff, and I feel you should look at resigning and finding something else to do in life for a while. Keith, I feel you're trying to leapfrog into another position, and I don't feel that your integrity is there. That's what I have to say, and I appreciate you listening to me, and I hope that, I think things turn out good in the election. Thank you.
All right, any other citizen concerns?
Pat Gill, Woodbury County Auditor. I haven't heard that ad yet, so looking forward to it. A few weeks ago, one of the board members, when we were going through the budget hearing, board member said that he wasn't taking the raise and he would give that back to the county. And the chairperson asked me to check into that, if that's an accurate statement or not. And I did check into it, and I did check in with the other counties and how that's handled. When you take, it is not allowable not to take a raise that has been voted for the county. It is not allowable. And the reason it's not allowable, and that's what these other counties have talked about, is that if Mr. Nelson's running for re-election this year, and he says that I'm going to take this job, but I'm going to do it for $10,000 cheaper because I'm not going to take that raise. That's wrong, it's unethical, and it's illegal, okay? So that's what the chairperson asked me to check into. I checked into it with our payroll, and every elected official is making what has been approved by the other elected officials. Thank you.
Any other citizen concerns?
Doyle Turner, 2738 200th Street. I want to talk about what happened on the 21st of May. After a meeting, Pat Gill came up to myself and Deb Main, and his comment was that the CO2 pipelines are buying the auditor's race. He was referring to a $5,000 donation given to Michelle Scaff's campaign, and by somebody who used to be a CEO with Navigator. Both Deb Main and myself informed him that Navigator is no longer in the CO2 arena in Iowa. And he informed us, no, they're still going at it. They're still going at it. My problem here is that Pat Gill has a fiduciary responsibility to run a fair and honest election. The information that he was giving out was very easily verifiable to be false. And that is a form of manipulating the election by an official who is in charge of the election. Now, I did talk to Michelle Scaff, and it turns out that the wife of this individual is a shirt-tail relation of hers. This had nothing to do with Navigator. And it's really kind of ironic because Pat could have very easily verified that by walking across his own office space. There is a trend here in the auditor's election portion where things are not above board, where there is a serious lack of integrity and an overall serious lack of taking his fiduciary responsibility to the board and to this county seriously. And I really think that we need to reassess whether Pat Gill is really the right person for doing this job. Thank you.
Any other citizen concerns? All right, moving on to board concerns. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So I have a couple of them. One, I want to publicly thank again Mark Nelson for all the information and our interactions with the LEC Authority. We've received a lot of information, communication. One of the things that I just wanted to bring up publicly, we're going to shed nearly $4 million in reserves fairly shortly due to damages. And one of the things that I brought up, just to Mr. Nelson, as well as the other legal counsel, is the amount of interest that we pay on that. And that's something that in the whole scheme of damages, I want to have just publicly on the record, if it makes its way into the minutes. But either way, I think that that's something that's important. Secondly, let me address.
Could I
Yeah,
actually add on?
absolutely.
So not only the interest of those reserves, but also the revenue that we would be getting in from the inmates. It's not that we get them in, that we don't get that dollar in the morning and we spend it by the afternoon. So that money would have also gone into reserve accounts that we would have been collecting interest on that as well. So we continue to assess damages. We're continuing to find other places where we're being damaged. And the longer that this project drags on, the worse it continues to get.
And thanks for your work on all of that. Secondly, let me address, and it's kind of an irony, our auditor at one point said that it was not legal for the board to take 0% and bifurcate and peel off. Well, that's proven to be wrong. We got a county attorney's opinion on that. The double irony is to be attacked for not taking a raise. I appreciate that the chairman asked the question. And furthermore, the irony is that the auditor's office has helped me to do this. $4,855 is donated to the United Way. Do you know how I do that? Through the deputy auditor, Michelle Scaff. You can see it on my payroll. At some point, I didn't feel comfortable working with the auditor's office any longer on that. So every 2 weeks, I work with Human Resources. And every 2 weeks, and Melissa Thomas is here and she can verify this, I donate to the Innocence Project for those who have been convicted and are working to be exonerated. Every 2 weeks, I make a donation there. In addition to that $3,413, I donate over $5,000, and I can provide the tax returns to do it. Now, if it's illegal, as the auditor suggests, for me to do that, or to suggest not to take a raise, and of all the things to be attacked on, this is an interesting one. It almost smacks of when I was in a combat zone in Iraq and a federal investigation was launched. We only know this from the FOIA materials. to help me lose my school district teaching job, another federal investigation, spurious, unfounded. But I have emails every 2 weeks. You can FOIA it. I've worked with the auditor's office to donate back so that I make a commitment for the last 10 years. If that's illegal and I'm somehow charged for donating to the United Way, to the Innocence Project, and to the other various entities like the Hope Street, then I guess that will come. Thank you very much.
Any other board concerns? I guess, I don't know how many weeks this will keep going on. It's been 3 in a row now, but Jonathan, now that you're here, I was interviewed by you. I obviously was asked a question about Jeremy's case, and I said the legal process needs to go its course, and that's how things are going to be solved, because as a sitting supervisor, I have no control over whether or not Jeremy decides to resign, and I have no decision in whether or not he can keep his position on the board. And in those situations, I tend to just not say anything, because sitting up here and attacking a fellow member, or just trying to tell anybody else what to do, is not my job. I don't tell anyone else up here how to vote. I don't tell anyone else up here what they should do in their personal life, and I sure as heck don't use the time at the board meeting to do so. I typically don't like to respond to personal attacks, because it just kind of sheds light to what people say, but it's just because I was silent here does not mean I was silent in interviews. And Jonathan, you can nod your head if you want, but you asked the question of me at KCAU Channel 9 in an interview, and I answered you. Thank you. And I know I've spoken to other news outlets, and I have a trust and faith in the legal process, and if it's not my decision, it's not my decision as a supervisor. I find it odd that I would be attacked 3 weeks in a row before an election for not saying something at a board meeting, when it really doesn't have place on our agenda, and it's not important to be said here at a board meeting. But I guess it's the world we live in, and with that, we're adjourned.